What's up, my name is TechNoba here for Troubleshoot, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can download and set up your own CraftBukkit or Spigot server. If you'd like to know how to set up a Fabric server, Paper server, or another mod pack server, make sure to check the description down below for a couple of my other videos. Down below is also a useful resource on learning exactly what port forwarding is and how to do it. You'll of course need to port forward and allow your server through your firewall if you'd like people outside of your local network to connect and play on your server. With all of that aside, let's go ahead and download BuildTools so we can make ourselves a CraftBukkit or Spigot server. Head across to the first link in the description down below, which is BuildTools over here. Unfortunately, we will need to download this software in order to build ourselves a CraftBukkit or Spigot jar file that we can set up our server from. Unfortunately, this is the only legal and correct way to do this. Any other downloads are often tampered with and possibly dangerous. This is of course the official web page. You can go ahead and verify it yourself. Anyways, once we're here, simply scroll down to the table of contents and we'll be selecting either Windows, Linux, or Mac. For me, I'm using Windows, so I'll click here. Scrolling up a little bit, we have prerequisites over here, Git and Java. Right below it, we have a Git and a Java download link. Of course, simply make sure that Java is up to date, otherwise click here and follow through with the instructions. And this one over here, Git, is not something you need to manually download, as the very latest versions of BuildTools will automatically download and install Git for you. Only grab it manually if you're having trouble. If you're having trouble, the download button is over here. So, simply scrolling down some more, we have running BuildTools. Simply download BuildTools from this link over here. I'll be clicking it and it'll download buildtools.jar. Simply click keep and find a new place to put this. I'll be making a folder on my desktop called BuildTools and I'll be dragging the jar from Chrome into this folder. Opening up the folder, here it is over here. So how exactly do we run BuildTools? Well, reading through some of the instructions, all we have to do is run a command from the command prompt window. Of course, we can run the commands manually, or we can scroll down a bit, and we have this over here. This is only for Windows and allows you to create a batch file from which we can automate the install process. Simply select everything inside of this code block, right-click, and copy. Then we'll be pasting this into a batch file. What exactly does that mean? While looking at the folder over here, simply right-click, New, and then select Text Document. I'll be calling it buildtools.bat as such. Make sure that there's no .text after it, and after you click anywhere else, you'll get this pop-up over here. I'll click yes. Assuming you didn't get that pop-up or you didn't see .text to begin with, at the very top, head across to View and make sure File Name Extensions is checked. Let's right-click on buildtools.bat, edit, or simply open it up in a text editor of your choice. Paste in this little block of code that we had all the way from @echo_off to pause at the very end. Then we'll make sure that buildtools.jar is the same name as the file over here that we just downloaded, buildtools.jar. If not, simply select buildtools.jar, copy it, and we'll be replacing the name of the buildtools.jar that we just downloaded over here. Anyways, with that matching, we'll save the batch file over here and close out of it. Then all we have to do is simply double-click on buildtools.bat. It'll then download a couple of files and ask us to enter a version. What do we enter here? Well, it's pretty simple. Let's click inside of the BuildTools info page that we were on before. Scrolling down a little bit, all we have to enter is enter a version, and it'll go ahead and compile us CraftBukkit and Spigot. By default, it only makes a Spigot jar unless the version is below 1.14. If you'd like CraftBukkit, simply make sure to add --compile space CraftBukkit as an argument when we enter the version. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Scrolling down, we have versions. Over here, we can see the versions that are currently available. So I'll be building a 1.16.3 server. Simply minimize this page and have a look at the batch file. I'll enter 1.16.3 followed by --compile CraftBukkit as such. Assuming you'd like just a Spigot jar, simply enter the version and hit enter. Assuming you want to build CraftBukkit and not Spigot, simply enter the version, space, --compile CraftBukkit, and then hit enter. Then it'll make just a CraftBukkit jar. I'll go ahead and run it with compile CraftBukkit just so it makes us a CraftBukkit jar file. Hitting enter, it'll download some required files, install them, and eventually it'll start creating our server jars that we'll have a look at in just a moment. I'll let this run through to completion. There we have it. It's completely done. pressing any key to continue, opening up the BuildTools folder. Over here we have CraftBukkit 1.16.3.jar. This is our CraftBukkit server file. Assuming you'd like the Spigot jar as well, simply go back, run BuildTools once again, and we'll enter 1.16.3, this time with nothing after it. It'll go ahead and run through, and when it's done, we'll have ourselves a Spigot jar as well. Now I can close out of it again, open up BuildTools, and we have CraftBukkit as well as Spigot over here. Awesome. Now we have both of these server files. Now of course, you can make your pick. Do you want to run a CraftBukkit server or a Spigot server? I'll be creating a Spigot server in this video, though these are both basically used interchangeably. Simply copy the jar file that we created and place it in another folder. I'll be making a folder called Spigot on my desktop. I'll open it up and paste it in here. Now that we have the server file, let's get to making the actual server itself. Simply right-click, New, and then click Text Document. We're going to create a server.bat file. Simply select everything, including .text at the end, and type in server.bat. Then hit Enter, and enter once again when asked if you want to rename it. Assuming you don't see the file ending in .text, simply head across to the View tab and make sure File Name Extensions is checked. Now that we've done that, right-click, Edit, or open it up with a text editor of your choice. In here, we'll be pasting the bit of text from the description down below. Let's fix a couple of things. This file that we created is called Spigot 1.16.3.jar and not just spigot.jar. Either we can rename it, or we can keep the version, copy the text as such, and paste it into our text file over here. The second method is preferable, as you can have different versions of your Spigot or CraftBukkit server in the same folder and only run one of them. Now that we've fixed the jar file name, all we have to do is decide how much RAM we're going to give our server, and then we can go ahead and run it. How do we do that? Well, looking at XMS, the starting amount of RAM, and XMX, the maximum amount of RAM, right next to them we have a number followed by a G. Currently, this is 4 GB of starting RAM and 4 GB of maximum RAM. You'll of course need to change this to match your PC. How much RAM do you give your server? Well, the more the better. Simply opening up Task Manager, heading across to the Performance tab, and then the Memory tab over here, we see how much RAM we have in our PC currently. I of course have 64, which is a ludicrous amount. I could give the server as much as I wanted, but you'll probably have 8, 12, or 16 gigs of RAM available. How much do you give the server? Well, as I mentioned, the more the merrier, but you'll still need some for whatever programs are currently running on your PC, the server itself, Minecraft as well, and a little bit of extra space at the top for other new programs to start up, web browsing, etc, etc. If you're not going to be playing the game and you're going to be running the server on a dedicated computer, you can give it as much as possible while still leaving a bit for Windows and other programs. So for me, I'll be using 8 GB of RAM as I have more than 8 free. I'll save it, close the server.bat file, and simply open it up again as such by double-clicking on it. This time, it'll generate some files and complain about a EULA. I'll press any key to continue, open EULA.txt, and change false to true as such, save it, and close it. Now we can edit server.properties and change whatever things in here we'd like. At the very bottom, we see server port 25565. Assuming you're going to be running more than one server on your computer, you will need to change this. Otherwise, if you're running just one, leave it as such, as this is the default port. If you'd like people on your local network to connect, i.e. the same router, simply make sure that this port is allowed through your firewall. If you want to let players outside of your local internet connection play, such as friends over the internet, you'll need to make sure that you're port forwarded as well as the firewall has this port open. You can find out how to do that in the description down below. To keep this video short, I won't be covering that. So let's close out our server.properties and we'll leave everything as default for now. Opening up server.bat, it'll now generate some other files and folders, and it'll start generating the spawn area of our world. Now we've reached the point where we can start up Minecraft and join our server in just a moment when this finishes generating spawn. There we go. From here, we can also add plugins to the plugins folder over here, and we can customize some other server settings in the Bukkit and Spigot folder over here. Assuming you're running just CraftBukkit, you'll only have the bukkit.yml file that you can customize as well. But of course, I won't be changing anything. I'll go ahead and join our new 1.16.3 Spigot server. Opening up the Minecraft launcher, I'll make sure 1.16.3 is selected and then click play. Now let's go ahead and join our actual server. Simply head across to the multiplayer tab and either click add a server or direct connect. Then it will be entering an IP in here. If you're going to be connecting to the server that's running on the same computer that you're playing from, simply enter localhost or 127.0.0.1 as such. If you're using a different port, add a colon followed by the port's number. But of course, for the default 25565, you can leave this out. I'll be leaving it as localhost and I'll click join server. There we go. Now we've loaded into our server. I can give myself op techno and I can change my game mode. Awesome. Things are working as expected. A quick side note, if you'd like people on the same local network as you, i.e. the same Wi-Fi, to join your server, all you have to do is give them a different number instead of localhost or 127.0.0.1. To find out what that number is, hold down start and press R, then type in CMD to open up a command prompt window. In here, we'll simply enter ipconfig and hit enter. Then we'll look for how we connected to the internet, which for me is Ethernet adapter Ethernet. Currently, my local IP address is 192.168.1.20. I'll give this address for other people to connect if they're on the same local network as me. If I want someone to connect to my server through the internet, I'll need to make sure to port forward and make sure that my firewall has that port open. If you'd like more info on that, there'll be some info in the description down below. But of course, after port forwarding, everything is fine and everyone can connect from anywhere. And that's about it. Let's go ahead and disconnect from our server, close Minecraft, and figure out how to save and close our server as well as relaunch it in the future. Usually, all you have to do is type in stop and hit enter, but something that I like to do is type in save-all to make sure that the entire world and all of the players' inventories, etc. is completely saved, and only then will I run stop. Running stop gently brings the server to a close and should always be used instead of clicking the X in the top right. Pressing any key to continue, our server is now completely closed. If we have a look inside of this folder, we'll still have our server.bat file, and this is the file that we simply run to open up our server and start hosting it once again. But anyways, that's about it for this video. Now you know how to set up BuildTools, build your own CraftBukkit or Spigot jar, and set up your own CraftBukkit or Spigot server for 1.16.3. Thank you all for watching. My name's been Technobo here for Troubleshoot, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao!